Kanehsatà, great peace to everyone. Anagadi wahiga jokwas wadon sius nyari. Zita zrio yujets ka hawinoji and dajets kwe nistan ronata hruni. Tekenu wadado garunga garahyan nes. Yatisota asatanka garakwa dana yeti nistan zio hunzada dana agwekuskat ne ganungwe. Dana agwezini ganyak taragerdo. Tekenu wadado so I identify myself as Gazita Zrio. This is the name that my mother has given me. And I identified that when she was in this world, that she carried the title of Wolf Clan Mother and her name was Kahnawà. And like always, we begin by giving our thanks. We give our thanks to the things that have formed creation. So we begin with the very first being within all creation and throughout the entire universe, which is Sky Woman, is identified as a female entity. And then the beating heart of our Mother Earth, our grandmother Moon, as she is the entity that pumps the blood through our Mother Earth. And then to our Mother Earth, the mother of us all, regardless of what color or race that we are, regardless of what we believe, regardless of what man-made religion you follow, the mother of us all, our Mother Earth. And then we give thanks to all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, as they are all the mothers of our nations and future mothers of our nations, and we are to be treated with the respect and honored for the role that they play within creation. Then we give thanks to the blood of our Mother Earth, as the blood flows through all of us and as we are breathing her blood right now at this moment. As we are a child within the womb, the child within the womb may not realize that it is engulfed or enclosed in water, as we do not realize that we are breathing water right now. And so we give thanks to that water, the blood of our mother. And then we give thanks to all the waters in all the forms that they come in, as it is liquid state or frozen, or if it is the water that we are breathing now, or the clouds that we are looking at, or the water that flows through us. There is a lot, of course, that we have to give thanks for. We can go on. And of course, whatever we give thanks for, we must protect it. It makes no sense for us to be giving thanks if I gave thanks to my father and knowing that somebody is right there killing him, but I am just standing here giving thanks. This is what is happening to our Mother Earth. We are giving thanks to her, but yet there is a monster that is raping her right in front of us. We are not turning our back, not the people here, but we have to be careful not to be caught up in the smoke and mirrors of what this entity uses upon their people. The smoke and mirrors of democapitalism has misled people for thousands of years. Everybody in your ancestry ever since the invention, the man-made invention of democracy, which is the oppression of the female. Ever since that creation, it has locked the people into a process of where they are not in control of anything. And this is where you are, not in control of anything. Because here we are, sitting upon exactly what this young man sang about. Imagine if there were super prisons. This is the super prison's lawn that you sit upon. And the super prison is run by those corporations. It is already here. He is not singing of the future. He is singing to you of your present and your past. Because this is the past ever since the creation of democracy. So-called democracy. The smoke and mirrors is the lie that they tell you. But the truth of it is as you know, it is democapitalism, because it is democracy protecting capitalism. And so you have no voice within there. But they use your voice, your numbers, to support that machine. So what you have to realize here, as all the people are crying out the same around the world to protect our Mother Earth, everybody in every country ends up resorting back to practices or mechanisms within their governments. But it's their governments that got the people into this mess. So what you must learn is something that your ancestors have never learned. Is that you do not have the answer from within this system. You do not have the answer from within the academic world that this system and man-made religion has created. It is the prison that enslaves you, and every day that you go back into that way of thinking or those mechanisms, you get enslaved more. So you may become free, because this is where you were. When you were walking to protect our Mother Earth, you truly were the free, while everybody else was stuck in their prison cells right here, as their security guards are watching closely upon them to make sure that they do what they are supposed to. So you were the free. So do not lose that freedom by slipping back into the mindset of democapitalism, because there's no answers in there for you. There is only deeper into the maze. 2 days ago, I was at what I consider to be the greatest event on the planet. And what this was is that we were at a gathering of the Sea Shepherd organization. I don't know if you are aware of what this is, but the Sea Shepherd organization, as far as I'm concerned, is the only environmental organization on the planet. Because they talk about the environment like every environmental agency does, organization does, but they actually go out and take action and stop it. And this is what makes me and the Mohawk Traditional Council so proud to support them, that they are, in their mind, they understand the realities, the political realities of this world. And so they work not within those false political institutions, they work on what is right. And this is where you must take your mind now, not to fall back into the democratic institutions, but to stay in freedom. Because as you were walking and you seen the gatherings that you had, you were getting close to the true and only form of governance of the people on the planet, which is consensus. And consensus is always rooted in the authority of our mothers. As the women have the authority, the men must carry out and protect, which is the female, as our good friend Mr. Rankin had identified. That the role of the male is just to protect everything that the female has provided. And so the governmental systems must reflect that. We cannot continue on a path of man-made governmental systems, because the reality is the only reason why everybody has found themselves walking against something is because the government has already done something. But it's that government that is supposed to represent you. So how do you end up finding yourself in a situation such as having to fight yourself? How do all the people find themselves in this situation? Because quite literally, by standing against this, you are fighting against yourself. So we must deal with the reality, the political reality. We must wake up, and the realities is that the non-native people in this world, it is time for you to follow the two-row wampum, which is the original arrangement between your ancestors and my ancestors, how we are to relate with one another, how we are to assist one another, help one another, how when one of us are in trouble, that we are to assist. We are both in trouble. We can identify to you the trouble that you are in, and you can identify to us the trouble that we are in. And from there we can deal with the realities and deal with the truths. And the truth is, the reality of the trouble that you are in is you are locked into the same system of male dominance that your ancestors have been for 2,000 years. And it's represented by this prison right here. And it's represented in your minds by all the man-made religions that have been created throughout time that oppress the female, that have created or established the female as not even second-class citizen, as less than that. Today, just because the women have the same right as the men to vote and to work in their same businesses of destruction, that does not mean that the women have equal rights as men. Because imagine, for women to have equal rights, you would have to climb down the evolutionary ladder to have the same rights as men, to be in the same place as men. So why would any woman want to do that? Why would any woman want to leave her power and authority to have the same rights and to be in the same place and to have the same power to destroy creation as what men have, and how they have given themselves this authority through the male self-glorification process of religion, as creating themselves as God. God sits in that building under male dominance, and he's telling you what's going to happen to you. It is time for you to break out of that and to stop following the path of this male dominant system. It is time for you to follow the paths of your mothers. Follow the path of your mother back to the truth of the two-row wampum, because the two-row wampum is a derivative of life itself. It is a derivative of DNA itself, the structure of how we are created. This is how we are to walk in this world together. So we will tell you how to live upon this land, because you are not of this polarity. But the people who are of this polarity will tell you how to live here, and we will help you and show you how to live here. We will show you how to attain the authority of the female, how to put your mothers back into power, how to give true consensus and true power and identity to men, as we are the children of our mothers. We are not the authorities. We are our mother's children. And it is time for us to start acting like good children, and not to allow the bullies amongst us to become what is the status quo. Pull our minds out of this darkness. We say, as we were driving here today, that this process cannot stop here. It must not stop here. You must do everything in your power to make sure that this process continues. We were so happy to hear when Ashley identified that she was, we could see it in her, that it was so important to continue from Kanehsatà to here. There's somebody else out there that will find it so important to continue it from here to their community. This must be done, because it's not a protest against a pipeline. It's the struggle for our humanity. It's the struggle for our mothers to bring our true identity back to us as human beings. And I'll tell you what my identity is, and you tell me if yours is any different. My identity is to be the son of my mother. That's my identity. I never rise above her with authority, never. I must listen to her. It's her path that I follow. And who my mother is the land. Yeti in this dog, Yohun Zata. my mother. This is your mother. We're so happy we can't express, and I know that I'll take the can't think of the words, but the opportunity to express this on behalf of Mr. Rankin also, that all Native people are so happy to see what you are doing. All the original peoples are, because for so long we've been so used to watching your ancestors, destroy all of this. It's brought much pain to the people here. You can see and you can feel the pain when you talk to Mr. Rankin as he was dragged through the residential school system, as his mind and his spirit was raped by this. But what the people gave this the authority to do. The people have suffered because we will not give up our identity. I will never become male dominant, and I will never rise above my mother with the education and the man-made religions and the false governments that have been forced upon our people. I will never succumb to that. We will, the original peoples will fight to the death. And that's exactly what we are doing. That's why there are so few left. So the reality is, if you want to get your identity back, to be true human again, you got to make sure the identity that the collective machination of your society has been destroying, you got to make sure that identity comes back. That's the only way you are going to restore your identity. That's the only way you will become honorable in this world and be able to walk as true women and men with pride. I am of the Longhouse. My head is firm. I know who I am. I can trace my lineage back to Sky Woman herself. And I take pride in that. And we should all fight to the death for her, to protect everything that we are made up of. We are not made up of stuff like this. We are not made up of stuff like man-made religions. We are made up of the truth of creation. And I'll tell you that you are going to find the truth of creation in the Deganidiohate. So pass the word to all your people to continue this journey. That it's not a walk against the pipeline, but it's a walk for our humanity. A walk to bring back our mother to life. So, and I just wanted to say a round of applause for this guy. He's just like an MC in a comedy house or something.
Thank you. Can we have a large round of applause for everything we just heard from these two lovely, lovely, beautiful individuals. That's the most powerful speech I've heard in a very, very, very long time. I'm grateful I was here to hear it. So thank you for blessing me.